Okay, welcome everyone. Hopefully, you all can hear and see us. We are so excited to have uh, all of you join us for our third annual virtual kickoff. We're going to now turn it over to our president of program operations, Mr. Lance Triggs.
Well, thank you, Lisa, and welcome to everyone. I am excited. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. As Charlisa mentioned, this is the third annual kickoff event for our partnership with Santander USA and City Year. And I'm very excited to be a part of this kickoff celebration. First of all, thank each and every one of you as City Year Corps members for doing the great job that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. I've had the opportunity to travel around the country and visit a number of the locations and talk to a number of the co-members from previous cohorts. And the work that you do on a day-to-day basis is tremendous and wonderful. And so, one, I want to salute all of you for the work you do on a day-to-day basis, your passion and your commitment to serve. In terms of this program, the Operation Open Side program, we're excited to bring this offering to all of you, like we've done to prior classes. Thanks to Santander USA, and who's the sponsor that allows us to do it, because it is so meaningful. The fact that we're able to take this moment in your life to pause and teach you about financial wellness and the importance of it, especially at the age group that you're in, to make sure that you're on that proper track to have a wonderful life journey when it comes to understanding the principles of money, understanding the importance of credit, and the importance of savings. I can tell you that when I was your age, I didn't know nothing about it. It wasn't taught in my home with my parents. It wasn't taught in school. And then when I turned 18 and or graduated and was working, I knew how to spend the money, but I didn't know how to save it and didn't know about the importance of credit. And so this program is designed to give you the knowledge and information and access to resources and even coaching to help you be on the right path when it comes to managing your financial well-being. And so Santander USA that plays a huge role in that. We're so grateful for our partnership with them. Not only are they providing some great incentives for all of you who complete the program, but the fact that they sponsor 22 of our financial coaches in 27 locations, I believe now, to be able to provide this service at no cost to any of you. So we're so excited to kick the event off by having this gathering. I believe we have 800 core members that are registered to go through this cohort. Last year, we had, I believe, over 760 that graduated and received $1,000 for completing the program. Again, Santander USA, Consumer USA have been great to offer that incentive for you to really give you a head start when it comes to your financial well-being. So we're excited to be here. We're here because we're committed to you and your success, and we're going to be here every step of the way. And then I look forward to next year, the graduation ceremony, where many of us get to get on a plane and go out and see you in person and celebrate your achievement thanks to this wonderful program. So without further ado, I want to acknowledge the Senior Director, Robin Kamara, and Charlisa Pugh for their great leadership, and all of our coaches who I see that are participating as well. We're here to serve you, and we're here to help you succeed. So without further ado, I'd like to play a video of our founder, chairman, and CEO, John Hope Bryant, who unfortunately was not able to join us because he was getting off an airplane. His flight was delayed, and so was not able to join us. But we'll play the video personally from him.
Hey, it's John Hope Bryant, founder of Operation Hope. I want to say I am so proud to be associated with City Year and Santander, great partners in our work. We're 32 years strong. We're the largest financial literacy coaching organization in America, 40 plus states, 1,500 plus offices, 30,000 plus volunteers, 5,000 partners, directed $4.5 billion in capital to underserved neighborhoods to lift them up, to create stakeholders for the dream. But the soldiers of the civil rights movement are different than the soldiers of the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement was filled with a lot of passion and vigor and was really pushing them against things that we should be against. And so it was based in the church, it was based in civil society, and all of our heroes and sheroes came from the streets. Now we need a new movement in the suites. And those leaders are more from the shoulders up than the arms down. They're not doing this, they're doing this. They're thinking in the suites, not just in the streets. They are servant leaders. They are able to connect the dots. They're able to help in different ways. But often those people trying to do the help need help themselves. And their income, City Year and Santander. Congratulations on being part of history. You are the new cohort of 800 City Year Hope for Young Adult participants for 2024, 2025. I'm so honored to bring you greetings. I want to tell you what's in store for you. You have a 6-month program that the first one started, by the way, in 2022. So, again, you're part of the historic new movement of building what I call civil rights leaders, but you can call it just servant leaders from the bottom up across the nation, ultimately around the world. The program started as a pilot in Dallas, Texas, and grew from 15 to now 27 cities nationwide. There are over 1,000 City Year Corps members who have successfully completed this program. As you can see, it continues to grow. Now, this cohort is 800. Participants will attend a 6 1-hour monthly workshops focusing on subjects like credit and budgeting and savings and benefits, um, really arming you with self-determination and financial literacy. And I believe financial literacy is a civil rights issue of this generation. Each participant is assigned a financial wellness coach from Operation Hope to assist participants with their financial goals of establishing and increasing credit scores, reducing revolving debt, and creating a budget. And last but not least, thanks to Santander's generosity, each graduate will be presented with a certificate of completion along with a $1,000 contribution to your future, courtesy of Santander. So, round of applause to them and a round of applause to you. God bless you. Now pay it forward. I'll see you on the battlefield of hope. Get caught trying to do good.
Thank you, Chairman Bryant, for your message. Operation Hope was created because of his vision 32 years ago back in Los Angeles. And so the fact that we've grown from a vision and a small number of employees in Los Angeles in 1992, and I was one of them, to now we have over 300 coaches in 42 states uh, doing this work for all types of populations. So we're very excited about our young adult program and the achievements that it's accomplished. And as Chairman Bryan mentioned, this group, this cohort of core members will be tied to a lineage of other core members who have successfully completed the program and are well on their way with their financial journey. And many of them, I think I ran into some of them while I've been traveling who now become homeowners thanks to this program, as well as other types of endeavors. So we're here to be supportive of you every step of the way. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce Brandon Riley, who's our Senior Vice President for Program Operations. Brandon?
Thank you so much for having me, Charlisa and Robin. I want to say welcome to everyone on this call. Thank you, Lance, for the introduction. It's really a blessing to be able to speak to the young adults and teach them not to step on the same landmines that some of us that are maybe past that age have made, including myself. And so it's really a blessing to be able to have these kind of conversations and talk about financial literacy and really get you prepared for the world, because I can tell you, life happens and you're going to have to experience things that comes with life. People lose their job, you have death in family, you have a lot of things that are going on in your life. And at the same time, you need to be able to manage your money wisely. You need to be able to handle situations to where you can bounce back from situations like that. But today, I definitely want to introduce you to somebody, our Vice President of Employee Engagement at Santander, Ms. Ammber McClure. She's joined Santander in August of 2013 and has held roles in operations, talent acquisitions, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. In her current role, currently with people and culture, Ammber is responsible for creating opportunities for employees to connect to our businesses, customer, and communities leaders and each other. Her 15 plus career span in financial services has provided her opportunities to make an impact on organizational culture. Ammber earned a diversity and inclusion certification from Cornell University in 2021. And most importantly, she's a proud mother of a high school junior. So I want to say thank you and welcome, Ms. Ammber McClure.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. First, I have to keep my Southern roots because I'm here in Boston today, and I feel like a hey y'all is in my spirit. So I like to be authentic, and I'm gonna say hey y'all. As we said, I appreciate the warm welcome and introduction. Again, my name is Ammber McClure, and I'm incredibly excited to be joining you tonight. Many of you may not know much about Santander US, but I want to tell you a little bit about us. We're a diversified financial business with over 13,000 employees. We serve 5.2 million customers and have over $147 billion in assets. But our main purpose and goal is to help people and businesses across the US prosper. And that includes our investment in programs like Operation Hope. So I want to congratulate you on taking the first steps to financial freedom. And that is truly, honestly, it's a game changer. I want to say this because you mentioned my daughter. I've personally benefited from the understanding of how to take charge of my credit. I understand the importance of saving for things like her college education. It's not cheap. She's a junior. She's an expensive child. She likes all the lavish, wonderful things in life. But I want to also show her that the freedom that she wants, the freedom in the world, is really right at her fingertips, and it's hers for the taking. There's a quote that actually says that education is the one thing that no one can take away from you. It's the knowledge of finances. It'll help you really impact yourself and generations to come. You'll begin thriving in this credit ecosystem, right? And it helps you to level the playing field. And that is truly life-changing. I personally am so proud of your dedication, your ability to push beyond whatever barriers that may have attempted to stop you from greatness. Each of you will serve as a beacon of light and a reminder that we are capable of anything if we truly put our minds to it. I'm wishing you the best on this journey. I'm excited to see where life takes you, and congratulations again from Santander.
Thank you, Ammber. And it is truly a pleasure to be able to work with partners like Santander and City Year. And speaking of City Year, we have a special guest who is here with City Year, who unfortunately has lost her voice. So Alexandra Allen, who is on the call, has asked me to deliver her remarks tonight. My name is Alex Allen, and I work at our City Year headquarters and have had the good fortune to build and manage this program over the last 3 years with my colleagues on this call. First of all, I want to thank Operation Hope and Santander for the amazing collaboration we have experienced in this partnership. Grateful that there are nonprofits out there doing great work in this area and companies who see their role as funding and getting behind collaborations that work versus just what works for their singular brand. I've worked at City Year for a long time, and this is one of those unique programs that comes along that you know is special. It provides a great combination of skill, learning, coaching, concrete tools, and incentive, all applied directly to something that is meaningful to each of you deciding to join. This kind of investment in your own financial health and financial mindset and skill set establishes a foundation that is so critical. And I hope that it is an investment that each of the core members feels puts them on a more stable path leaving City Year compared to when you came in. This year is such a challenging and life-changing one, but one that continues to give you opportunities to question your own thinking and perspective, and then to try new ones. The act of doing that means you are constantly breaking aspects of yourself down in order to rebuild them. That is tough work. It is benefits like this one that I hope strengthens how you lead the experience. To all core members kicking off this program, I want to say thank you for stepping up to this opportunity and taking this on top of all of the work you are doing with each other and in schools with students, teachers, and families. I hope you will gain value, skills, and relationships that will benefit you while you are here, and more importantly, after you graduate. The Hope for Young Adults program continues to be in great alignment with the values of City Year. We continue to be excited about this collaboration as we learn and grow together. Alex, thank you so much for those words, and I hope I did them justice. So I know by now we have all been inspired by these wonderful speakers. So let's please give all of the speakers thus far a virtual round of applause. Before we move forward, I do want to ask each of our core members to please, please, please go into the chat and click the Google form. That is how your attendance will be credited. If you are sharing the screen with one of your peers, then please share that link so that everyone, we have 104 people on the call, and most of them are you, not us. We want to be sure that we have your attendance. The location with the highest percentage attendance will receive a pizza party. And many of your site leaders are offering this hour as a service hour. And I know how precious those service hours are to the core members. So please make sure that you have that completed. Okay, so moving on, we are so excited to welcome our third cohort of Hope for Young Adults. Many of you already started your journey of financial empowerment by meeting with your coaches, setting achievable financial goals, and attending our group workshops. The remainder of tonight's program will be a discussion, an open conversation about money. We have individuals who will answer open and honestly about their personal experiences with finances and the lessons that they have learned. We promise you will be informed and inspired by hearing from these individuals. However, before we get into that discussion, please allow me to introduce your moderator for the evening, our very own Lakita Fox. Lakita is a young adult financial well-being coach for Operation Hope and is proudly serving the Memphis and Columbia, South Carolina City Year program since October of 2023. Previously, Lakita served as an adult financial well-being coach with Operation Hope for 4 years. She brings with her over 19 years of banking, credit, finance, and 11 years of management experience. She comes from humble beginnings and has learned a lot along the way. Her current role allows her to serve in her passion to help others by breaking generational curses and uplifting individuals through financial empowerment. Please help me welcome our moderator, Lakita Fox.
Thank you, Charlisa, for that warm introduction. I will say that I'm happy to be here with you all and look forward to an honest and open discussion about money with our panelists. I know from firsthand experience the importance of being open about one's finances with trusted advisors. My financial journey has given me the passion to be able to pour into others. I remember just for myself not knowing how to budget. I didn't know much about credit and also was living paycheck to paycheck. I remember trying to even go purchase my first home to only find out that I needed, but I didn't have any credit, didn't have any savings, and I didn't have a budget put together either. However, I had someone to pour into me. And then I started working at the bank, working part-time, and I was introduced to so many resources. From there, though, I was introduced to Operation Hope to attend a workshop. And it changed my life. It did. And from there, I knew that I could do the same. And so I believe in each one, teach one, which is what brings me here and which is what drives my passion to helping others. So with that being said, why don't we get started with our discussion? First, let me welcome and introduce our panelists. First being Marty Boucharding. He's a professional accountant with over 40 years experience leading and managing cross-functional teams across a wide variety of business operations and sectors. Marty has an extensive leadership and management experience in finance and accounting, working with a wide variety of large global clients. His interests includes personal financing and investing, teaching financial literacy with the Hope Foundation, hiking and fishing, astronomy, and national parks. His employment history includes him working with Gemini America as VP of Business Services and also with Hydro One out of Canada. Let's welcome Marty Boucharding.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have Devani Barjas. She's a former Hope client who reduced her debt by over $3,000 with the credit and money management program. As a first-generation college graduate who once struggled financially and worked several jobs through college, Devani has earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Texas at San Antonio in public administration and public policy. She's a graduate student of a master's in education. She became a homeowner, and she has earned her licenses as well as certifications in teaching, administrative professional foundations, recognizing child maltreatment, and youth mental health support. Today, Devani is a teacher within San Antonio Independent Schools District, where she guides children who stem from similar backgrounds and hardship, passing on her knowledge to a new generation. Let's welcome Devani.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. And then lastly, we have Ms. Wanda Bell, who works as a tenured IT professional, as well as a dedicated financial wellness coach. For the last 13 years, she's worked with Ingram Micro, a technology distributor, and also is the founder of Bell Financial Services, a financial consulting firm. She brings a unique perspective to financial coaching, combining analytical skills and strategic thinking to develop actionable plans tailored to each client's unique needs. Her expertise includes budgeting and credit guidance, tailored for young adults and those seeking to recover from past challenges. Let's welcome Ms. Wanda Bell.
So excited for this conversation.
Awesome. Thank you, Wanda. Thank you, Devani, and thank you, Marty. We're so glad to have you here tonight. I'm going to be asking you several questions, but this first question that I have will be for each of you. The question is, what is your first memory of or your first interaction with money? And we can start with you, Marty.
Okay. You're going back a long way. I mean, a really long way. My first recollection of money was probably when I was maybe 5 or 6 years old. And now we're talking about the early 60s. That's how far back it goes. Maybe a way to start is, I come from a family of immigrants. My mom and dad immigrated from Europe after the Second World War, looking for a new future. And me and my twin sister were the firstborn here. But they couldn't speak the language. They couldn't speak English, when they came here. And so my dad was a laborer, and my mom was stayed at home, but occasionally would work as a cleaner at the local library. And every Saturday when I started, when I was 5 or 6 years old, the family would get together. My father had another little gig where we went to this warehouse where we spent the morning cleaning. And it was a family affair. We would get together and we would clean, and he would make enough money, to pay for the groceries. And in the afternoon, we would go to the grocery store, the supermarket. And back then, supermarkets were not open on Sundays. They could only, everything shut down on a Sunday. And so we would go in the afternoon and while I helped to do some of the cleaning, my job at the supermarket was to sit in the bread aisle and wait. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the manager would come around and they would start reducing the price of bread. And so it was my job to alert my mom and dad and in fact, get some of the bread that I knew that we used as a family, and put it in and take it and give it to my mom for the cart. And so, I understood, from that perspective, how important it was, to work and to find the money, and then how important it was to actually manage the money to make sure that you had enough to buy the essentials in life, including groceries. What was interesting is it was, we used to do, jobs around the house, and we would get paid a little bit. And back then it was a dime, right? I mean, a dime was big money back then. You could buy some candy, you could buy a few things, but where most people would get a piggy bank, I got a little coin card, and in the card I could put my dimes, And what was fascinating to me about that was instead of a piggy bank, I knew exactly how much money I had. And every week I would add another dime, and eventually I might have like $2 or $3, which would allow me to buy something that I wanted. So I learned from that, that not only did you have to work, I learned later in life that there's other ways to make money, but you had to work hard to earn the money. You had to be very careful about how you managed your money. And it was very helpful if you actually saved money and you knew how much you had at hand. And having that little coin card was much better than a piggy bank for me, because I could open up and immediately know exactly how much money I had. And so that was very good for me. And to this very day, I still like coin collecting. I still do it. And it's fascinating that I do it not so much for the money, but for the history about coins. And so that's one of my hobbies as well. But that's that was sort of my first recollection of money back when I was, 6 or 7 years old.
Okay. Thank you, Marty, for that first memory. I will say that in my experience, even today, I find that a lot of us, not just young adults, but adults as well, hate on the floor, or whether it be on the ground, but it definitely adds up. Every penny counts. So thank you for that. Next, Devani, I'll repeat the question for you. What is your first memory or interaction with money?
Thinking back to like my first memory with money, I'm kind of seeing myself like collecting coins as well, just as a kid, because my grandparents had just different types of silver around the house, and just kind of recognizing it. Not really like knowing how much it was like worth or whatnot at the time, but just knowing that it was kind of around. And as I got older, I come from a low income family, and I knew money was earned and you had to work for it. So I kind of watched my family work very hard for what we had and just try their best to manage it the best that they could. So as I was getting older, I would kind of do chores around the house, get like a small allowance, but I actually didn't really start seeing like more income for myself until I was out of high school, because my mom was real driven on us finishing school before I could work. So it was kind of embarrassing when it was like senior activities or different activities in school because I didn't have money to like purchase stuff. So when the time finally came, when I was making my own money out of high school, I probably didn't manage it the best way that I could, but I learned a lot. And now I'm thankful that I'm here where I'm at right now, especially thanks to Operation Hope and my coach Dom at the time. But yes, it was a learning experience.
Thank you, Devani. I can truly say that that probably is the story of most of us. We made mistakes back in the day. We didn't know any better, right? Again, we were not taught. Our parents were not taught. And like you said, when you come from those humble beginnings, and then you get to a place where you're actually making some money, you're ready to go spend it. I know that's what we think about, spending money. That's the first thing that comes to mind. However, when we learn better, we can do better. Thank you again. Same question for you, Ms. Wanda. The question was, what is your first memory or interaction with money?
So my first interaction or memory with money is remembering how much pride my mother took in saving. So my parents, they married young. My mom was 17, my dad was 20, 21, and didn't have much. And they were on a limited income and they immediately had children. And so I remember growing up and listening to my mom be so excited at the fact that she could buy a whole outfit from the thrift store for $5. And she would tell anyone, like somebody compliment her shoes, she'd be like, $2. And I remember the pride that she used to have in saving money. And so when she first like kind of started giving my brother and I money to like get things from the store, just as, a reward for doing our chores or helping out around the house, I kind of chose to save more than spend because I just saw how much pride she took in it. Now, I definitely made my mistakes the older I got. I think we all fall into that cycle of, when you don't know, you kind of make some really bad mistakes with money. But I just always remember her just being so prideful in the fact that she can save. And she's like that even now. Like if she can get something on sale, she will tell the world.
For that, I agree with you as well. I think I'm like that now. When it comes to shopping, I can take my nephews with me to the store and I can take $100 and I can have 5 pair of pants, maybe 3 or 4 shirts, probably even a pair of shoes, depending on where I shop. But with them, it's one shirt. I'm like, that's all you got? One shirt for $100. So again, it's just a matter of us being taught and shown how to do things properly. So thank you for that, Ms. Wanda. Next question, and this question will be directed to you, Devani. What do you think about your current and future financial situation? I repeat that. What do you think about your current and future financial situation?
What do I think about my current financial situation? I think it is a lot better than what it used to be. I've come a long way and I'm very proud of myself for the ways that I've managed it. When I think about it in the future, I am very open-minded to the different finances that I have in front of me and how I delegate like my spending and savings. So I guess just being more secure, open-minded, and confident in my financial decisions like daily. So I can be more successful. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, just know that we're proud of you too. You've come a long way. And again, we're super proud of you. But give yourself some grace, right? This takes time. And just know that it's not something that'll happen overnight. But definitely keep working hard at what you're doing. Again, you're doing an awesome job. So thank you. Next question will be directed to you, Mr. Marty.
Okay.
What are some financial decisions you wish you had made, known about as a young adult?
I think the one that sticks out for me was more of a mistake that I had made. And I had only just been married to my wife, and you know, this is like 48 years ago now. We're still together, but we you know, I had saved up some money. You know, we were both working. We had managed to find a house, and I had saved up a little bit of money, and I had learned about, you know, as part of my training and accounting, learned about, hey, you don't have to always work. You can make your money work for you. And I was looking for, you know, something to invest in. I had it took us, you know, 2 or 3 years, but we managed to save up about $5,000, and I thought I wanted to put it into a bond, right, or you know, and something a little safer. And so I called up, you know, this brokerage firm in a small town that we have, and said, this is what I'm interested in investing here, so I can earn some passive income, right? And then the person at the time said, let me think about it. And they came back and said, oh, here's a bond. It's really good. This is the one you should take. And I said, is it good? And they said, hey, absolutely, it's good, right? So I put my money in the all $5,000, and it was a $5,000 bond, right? And within a year, that company had gone bankrupt, and I had lost the entire $5,000. And you know, and to this day, it still irks me, because the one thing I've realized over the years is that you can make money work for you, and you can have passive income, but it itself takes work. You have to do your own research. You have to take accountability for your decisions, and you have to manage your money. And I realized at the time that this person was obviously taking a commission and was just getting rid of, you know, the bonds, and the company itself wasn't worth the money it was, the paper was written on. It cost me dearly because it set me back, you know, a couple of years, at least 2 or 3 years. And it was a hard lesson to learn. And I definitely learned that. So I regularly spend, you know, maybe a half hour or something every week, you know, making sure that I'm looking at the stuff that I'm investing in. I'm learning about the businesses, and I'm making sure that what I put my money to, I'm comfortable in. And so that was a hard lesson to learn, but that was a long time ago now, but it was painful at the beginning.
I can only imagine that it was. You said it set you back 2 years.
At least.
That's definitely a lot. Yes, sir. Follow-up question for you. For the young adults that are attending today that may want to even start getting into investing, what tip or 2 tips can you give them in regards to getting started?
Well, the first thing is you need to do some homework. That's the first thing you need to do. You need to understand what it is that you think you want to invest in. And generally speaking, if you're going to start out, I would say make sure you play reasonably safe, you know, and put it in something that's a little bit more diversified. There are some good options these days. You know, there's some things like the, you know, S&P 500, you know, ETF, right? You know, they're fairly safe. Yes, they will go up and down. But too often I see people who are willing to put their money in things they simply don't understand. And some of the meme stocks, I see people playing in those, and sometimes I see people throwing money at cryptocurrencies and all sorts of things. And quite frankly, you know, it drives me a bit crazy when I see, like, do you understand what it is you're investing in? So that's the first rule you need to. The second rule is try and diversify, understand what your risk tolerance is. If you can't afford to lose it, don't do it, right?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Another follow-up question would be, is it that you know of any resources, possibly free resources, where they can actually start doing the homework or start learning about investing?
Yeah, there is quite a lot. There's a lot on the internet, but if you look to, you know, set up an account, you can set up an account fairly easily at some of these big brokerage firms, you know, whether it's Fidelity or JP Morgan or others. It's amazing how much information they have that is free. And there's huge amounts that you can go online and learn about things, you know, whether you want to learn about, you know, municipal bonds, or you want to learn about versus stocks or you know, or REITs or anything. You can learn about a lot of different things online. It's also important to try and speak to others to make sure that you're talking to others, and including the folks at the Home Foundation, you know, about investing, and what are some of the cardinal rules that I hold near and dear to my heart in terms of what people should be doing.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I know that as we, meet with our clients, whether they're adults or young adults, and we talk about investing, a lot of times, we can tell them to go Google, but nowadays, especially in 2024, a lot of things we cannot trust on the internet. So that's why I posed the question to you. So thank you so much for that. Next question for you, Wanda, is what is a money move you personally made that you are most proud of?
Okay. So I destroyed my credit when I was in my early 20s. I was someone who married young, had a kid at 19, and divorced and had a lot of debt and a horrible credit score at age 25. But by age 27, I was debt free and my credit was rebuilt. And the way that I was able to do it is I taught myself the basics of managing my money properly. I taught myself the importance of saving, budgeting, which I had never really budgeted before, but I literally just I I read books, I listened to people that I trusted, and I decided to take the action like every day, like take an action forward to like rebuild my financial situation. And I became debt free at 27. Um, and I rebuilt my life. And since then, I mean, I'm 38 now. And since then, I've just been able to build upon that. And now I'm really excited about teaching my son just not to make the mistakes that I did. He's 18 now. And so, what I'm instilling in him is how to avoid all of the predatory type loans and credit cards and things like that that a lot of us see in our early 20s. But that I'm only at that point now because I literally woke up one morning when I was 25 and was like, this can't be the end of my story. And that really meant me finding ways to increase my income. I was side hustle queen for a while, and I found ways to increase my income, control my expenses, and pay off debt. And it was something that literally it took me 2 years of aggressively paying things off and saying no to fun for the moment because I wanted to focus on a brighter financial future. And it's one thing that I'm most proud of.
Love that. Three takeaways just from that alone. First one being when you said taking action. So we just can't, sit in our own pity party, right? And be sad about our situation. We have to be able to ask questions, reach out, like Mr. Marty said a few minutes ago. Call on other people that may be in the industry and asking those important questions, but definitely stepping up to take action, making it a mindset to just say, hey, I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. And it's time for me to take action to do something about it, to make a difference. But you guys have Operation Hope. So it's a win-win for you guys. Start here with your coach asking questions, using us as your resource, a free resource at that. It can't get any better. The second takeaway being you were the side hustle queen. So sometimes it takes us to take our skills and our talents to explore, right? The things that we have to give to others, but at a cost. And one thing that John Hope Bryant would always tell us is use the resources from your current job, right, to help pay for, the things that you want to do in life. So think about that too. So as you're working on your side hustle and making money, do it until you can't anymore. But just know that it's not permanent. It's a temporary fix. Okay. But when you do get on top, again, this can be a testimonial for yourself. So I love that. And then the last one being is just knowing that it can be done. It can be done. So for all of you who are in a position or losing hope right now, I want to be able to pour into you today. And I hope that you're taking in everything that's being said and knowing that hope, it can happen and there is hope for you. So thank you so much, Ms. Wanda, for your story. Next question for you, Mr. Marty. Do you discuss saving and investing with your friends or family? And if you do,
Yeah.
do you find it to be difficult or easy?
It's interesting because it's both. And I'd explain. I do talk about investing and savings with both friends and with family. When I look at my family, I have two kids, a boy and a daughter, and it's much easier with my son only because he's also in the business. He works for a large bank, and he has his trading license. He works in derivatives and products, and he knows almost more than I do, about investment products. So when I talk to him, my head kind of spins when he talks about all the things that they're devising and dealing with. So it's much easier. My daughter is the polar opposite. She is got 3 young kids. They've got they're up to their eyeballs in terms of costs and things. They're trying to manage this stuff, and neither one of them has time to actually sit down and think about their financial situation, think about planning. And when dear old dad shows up and says, let's have a chat, it's the last thing she wants to do is maybe talk to her dad, about her financial situation. So it becomes very difficult, with her. So even though I help where I can, and I do help, it's having those discussions and trying to prod her and her husband to do some of the things they should be doing, like setting up, programs for, putting money away for their kids' college funds, right? Even though they're young now, now's the time to start because you get the value of compounding, over many, many years. And yet it seems very difficult, to push them in that direction. When it comes to friends, it's much easier. We don't necessarily talk about details of money, but we talk about things like, tax deductions or other kinds of things, or investments, or your 401k, or converting it to a Roth, or doing all sorts of different things, right? We have those discussions. We don't necessarily talk about, well, how much money did you put here? How much? We don't. But we do talk about, the thoughts and the strategies and the things that we talk about. So it's much easier, to talk on that front. I don't suggest anybody, give their personal details as how much money they have in their bank or what they do, but focus on the things that are important. If you have a tax, a capital gain, if you have a, potential capital loss, maybe you might want to think about taking the 2 of them so you don't have to pay extra tax or stuff like that, right? There's all sorts of things that you can talk about, and so it makes it simple and easy to do. So I do encourage it.
Thank you so much. I will say that I commend you and thank you for taking the time to discuss saving and investing with your family and friends. A lot of times that conversation can be one that can be an embarrassing conversation. It can be a conversation that's hard to have with our family and friends, but we definitely encourage it. So for everyone that is on the call, please, if you have not already, I want to encourage you to take some time, maybe not today, but sometime soon, have a conversation, open money conversation with your family to discuss what that looks like. And as Marty said, you don't have to go into details and specifics of how much you have on hand, but it may be something that that somebody else may need to learn. So definitely spread that information. Next, he also mentioned about saving early. Now's the time to start saving now. Don't wait until it's too late. What comes to mind for me is just those what if moments, such as maybe you're riding down the street to work and you hit a pothole and you bust your tire. That you need to be able to prepare for those what if moments and having that money in savings. And just that scenario alone can create or determine whether or not you're going to be stressed out, whether or not, you're going to be sad for the next couple of days, just because, again, you were not prepared for that moment. So start saving now. I encourage it. Thank you again, Marty. Next question to Devani. What do you think is the most misunderstood concept in personal finance?
The most understood concept. I'm not sure if this aligns, but like, not all debt is just bad, you know? And I think it took me a long time to learn that, especially straight out of college and stuff. And you don't necessarily want to think of what you're kind of carrying behind you, from like student loans to just different things, building credit, because you want to, you see all these things online. And I always felt like I was so behind. I never wanted to think about like the money that I was going to have to save for, or the money that I already had owed. But as time went on, I just took time to just realize, like, you know what, I'm going to do what I can one day at a time and just take it slow, and looked at things in a more positive aspect, because it was draining mentally to think of all like the debt. And then when I was introduced, of course, to City Year, and I was with Operation Hope, just realizing that my schooling was an investment, and a lot of the things that I did, even with paying down my credit cards, helped build my credit so I can purchase my house and just continue to grow with getting my car and like refinancing stuff. And it was just, not all debt was bad. It really helped grow me and shape me as like an adult, from being so young and closed-minded to not even wanting to look at any of my finances because it was so mentally like draining. And just taking the time to talk to people and finally open up that nasty conversation about like, oh my gosh, I'm like broke, because you see all these young people in different timelines, and not all debt is bad. You're gonna get through it. Just take it one day at a time, and you're gonna get to exactly where you need to be.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that.
Yes.
I appreciate you. And I appreciate, this brings us to our last question. And so I appreciate all of the panelists for being here tonight. You guys have done a phenomenal job. I want to leave us with a quote before I turn it back over. But this is a quote from John Hope Bryant that says, without financial literacy, divorce rates soar, families rupture, and women stay with abusive men for financial security. A lack of jobs contributes to riots and illegal activity. Name any situation, and it goes back to money. We need to focus on poverty eradication. Financial literacy is so important, guys. Again, Operation Hope is here for you as a resource. Please utilize us. And again, it's free. Again, I'm Lakita Fox. I thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to be your moderator for today. And now we'll turn it back over to my director, Charlisa Pugh.
Thank you, Lakita. And thank you, panelists, for doing a phenomenal job. Core members, I know your mics are muted, so we cannot hear you visibly, but please give a virtual round of applause to this incredible group of panelists. And I would just, before we close out with closing remarks from our Senior Director, Robin Kamara, I just want to a moment of personal privilege to thank you, Lakita, for doing a phenomenal job moderating. And I would like to thank Donna Androsi, who has been in the background manning that, making sure that you all have seen the Google form, and also putting inspirational words of encouragement there. And then, of course, I also have to thank Siobhan Riggin, who is our marketing liaison for program operations, who has just done a wonderful job making sure this has all come together. And I helping those of us who knew nothing about Teams webinar prior to this day. So thank you all. And finally, I want to thank our phenomenal young adult coaches, who many of you know. And before this 6-month period is over, you will know very well. They will become your confidants, your accountability partners, and for some, maybe even friends. This is a very personal relationship working with a financial well-being coach. You share a lot of personal information, but we wanted to bring this program to you just to show you from people you do not know, the three panelists and Lakita who have spoken, that, being able to talk open and honestly about your finances is definitely something that if you start early can help you not fall into pitfalls. So we just want to thank everyone who came onto this call today. And now I'm going to turn it over to our leader, Robin Kamara, for closing remarks. So Robin may be having technical difficulties. I
Can you
know
hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay, yeah, my mic goes in and out. What about now? Am I still clear? Okay, thank you so much. So again, thank you so much for the invite. It's always such a pleasure to be here and to always just hear the takeaways. And so I will be brief. Core members, to each of you, I am going to leave you with our theme here at Operation Hope, which is accountability. And so you all have taken the first step. I know we had roughly, I want to say about 109 individuals on this call, so some may have dropped, but you have taken the first step, which is being here. And so Charlisa mentioned the importance of just being here, and your site leaders have already taken the initiative to credit you community service. In addition to tonight, you still have a long road ahead of you. So I want to challenge each of you to serve as accountability partners to get to the finish line. You are not there yet. We want to congratulate, we want to celebrate you, and we can't wait to see you walk across that stage because it's very, very important. And our celebration of learning events is something that you have to experience for yourself. And we want to welcome you back as a guest speaker in the future. Hearing from Marty, hearing from Devani, hearing from Wanda, those are their personal experiences and their journeys, but those should be your takeaways. That's key information that they shared with you. So you are already ahead. So I can't thank each of you. Thank you so much, Ammber. Thank you so much, Alex, for your partnership and your support. And we can't wait to see what the road is ahead and celebrate these amazing core members in 2025. Thank you so much for a great night. Have a wonderful one. Back over to you, Charlisa.
Thank you, Robin. Good night, everyone. If you haven't completed your form, please do so. It's in the chat. Have a good evening. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Good night, everybody. Great job.
Well, thank you all for joining. I think we are free to end this meeting now, Siobhan.